All right, gentlemen, we're gonna jump right in. First thing I'd like each of you to do, and Josh, I'll start with you, is just self introductions and from your perspective, the importance of this problem and challenge. Josh,
Sure.
you should be.
There we go.
There you are.
My name is Josh Ruiz. I am the Vice President of Ag Operations for Church Brothers in Salinas. We are a fully integrated vegetable shipper. We have our own harvest company, farming company, spray company, sales, marketing, the whole 9 yards. And so we are California, Arizona, and Mexico doing all the leafy veg that you're all familiar with, of course. So that's who I am. And thanks, Drew. I don't know if anybody of you heard that. But so anyways, we are Church Brothers. I'm Josh, and we are fresh vegetable harvesting. And so we are really interested in this group and what's been going on, and the reason we're involved is because we believe it's going to take a group coming together and actually doing something and working together to get this off the ground. So we're excited to be here and appreciate you guys having us.
Good. Thank you, Josh. Don?
Good afternoon. I'm Don Cameron, General Manager and Vice President of Terranova Ranch, located southwest of Fresno. We grow a real wide variety of crops, specialty crops, and then about 25 crops in all: trees, vines, and quite a bit of vegetable and seed crops. And I've been pushing hard on this for quite some time, because without the innovation, without the replacement for some of the labor that we definitely need on farm, we really don't have a good future. We're seeing the declines in just getting labor to do the manual harvest that we have right now, and with all the regulations that we deal with as farmers in California, we look at the possible labor savings and the efficiencies that a program like this can bring to really all growers. I look at the rest of the U.S. We've got 90 million acres of corn, we've got 80 million acres of soybeans, and in California we have 27 million acres of farmland and 400 different crops that we farm here, and the economics have just not been there for one individual commodity to really do the automation that we need. So that's why I feel this is important, to have a stable common platform for all of these minor commodities that are extremely important to the economy and all of us here in California.
Good. All right, Drew.
I am Drew Ketelsen with HMC Farms, and we are a grower, packer, shipper of table grapes, peaches, plums, and nectarines. And we are here and participating in this initiative. For us, it's really do or die. With the products that we produce, it's about 70% of our cost of every box is labor. So for us, harvest labor is hugely important, but there's other steps along the way that we are looking to tackle as well. So for us, this labor initiative and automation initiative it's imperative, and it's going to allow us to stay in business, because without something to help us get this done with fewer people and rising costs, we won't be able to exist.
Okay, great, thank you. One of the things that I'd like each of you to do, because having spent some time with you over any number of years, each of you have kind of approached the issue kind of differently. Josh, one of the things I'd like you to chat a little bit about is, just I've always been intrigued, as I know others have been, when they hear the story about how you approached the broccoli challenge, what you did and how that worked, and I think it really does speak to, you've got to work with other elements of the industry to make something happen. So talk a little bit about that, and then how you've kind of tackled this issue to date, and then Don and Drew, just to tip you off, that same question will be coming your way. So.
Yeah, so I've been working on broccoli specifically for well over 10 years now, and I'm going to sidetrack here a little bit. Success, I've been sitting in the audience today, and people have been asking the question, what does success look like? And for me specifically, and for us at Church Brothers, success is not losing the ability to farm fresh vegetables, especially broccoli here in California. Right now, including us, there's a huge vacuum to Mexico, and that's because of labor, and we don't, it's too expensive, it's too complicated, there's too many regulations and things like that. So I just want to keep growing broccoli here. And because of that, I've been working on this project for, like I said, better part of 10 years. I learned a lot from traveling around the world and just looking and listening to other industries, as we're doing here. That's, again, part of the reason why I want to be a part of this group. There's so many different industries that are going to help us all. Even though I want broccoli, somebody else wants oranges, the common platform is going to allow us to get there quicker. And so I've done that over the years. And long story short, like the last panel was just talking about, I quickly realized that in order to automate my harvest of broccoli, I had to completely reconfigure how I farmed the broccoli. I had to open my mind to be willing to change every single aspect of what I do in order to make automation happen. I thought I could just start with creating a machine. I couldn't. At least I couldn't. My team and I couldn't. So we went and we found a new way to farm. We worked with Monsanto. I've been working with them for a better part of that 10 years on developing genetics that helped me fit the machine better. And so the last thing to come into play was the actual machine. So we changed the way we farm. We changed the genetics to fit us and the machine, and then we created our automatic harvesting machine. And so today, I can take a machine out into the field and cut my broccoli with it and take it into the shed and process it. And I can almost do it with very little hands touching it, or almost none. And it's because I went through the steps and was willing to change everything along the way. So that's, for me, doing something. I was talking earlier with several of you. Doing something is what we need to do, and this group is doing something, and we're going to get it off the ground. I believe that, and that will inevitably lead to these other things too. So that's kind of what we did and how we got started.
Well, and I think that's an interesting point about you want to keep farming broccoli here, and you think good old broccoli, it couldn't possibly go away, but I'm going to guess Neil, if he thinks back on asparagus, this will be a true statement, only the fact may be false, of once upon a time we farmed about 60,000 acres of asparagus in California, and now we're down to 600. So, and that's not the only example of something could leave. So,
right.
So to hear broccoli on that list, I think is kind of sobering. So Don, how have you taken a look at all this? The word on the street when it comes to innovation, and if we need to go see somebody, he's going to look at things, is you. So you've been looking at and thinking about these things. How have you attacked the problem?
You're right. We talked earlier about the Silicon Valley invading the San Joaquin Valley, and over the years, we had a lot of people show up with a lot of creative ideas, and we definitely take a look at them and see if we do have a fit on farm. But what we found we would find somebody that had a good idea, but as you heard earlier, they don't want to change their way of doing things. I mean, we'll give them advice. We'll tell them, if you make some tweaks here, this thing would be much more widely acceptable. And the ones that listened, the ones that changed, we worked with. We started working with several companies early on. And they actually made changes to their whole product that actually fit a wide variety of growers, not just us, but we found that the ones that listened have been the ones that have been successful. And I look at a project like this. I believe we can really be creative and innovative and get a product, and that doesn't mean there won't be failures along the way. I think you learn probably your biggest lessons are from the failures you have. So I don't think that we're gonna have something be great. We start out, we get something that works fantastic on farm, but I think there's going to be a lot of tweaks. I watched the videos this morning of some of the products that are out there currently that they're marketing, and they're head and shoulders above what we have or haven't had. But when I see that, I think, my gosh, that thing's going to hit a mud hole, and that thing's going to be twisted like a pretzel, on the first pass through my field. So I think there's got to be some practical on-farm learning, and just, I look at what we're venturing to get into here as a really successful program. I think I love the 80-10-10 because I do believe that there are a lot of components out there that can be adaptable to what we're looking for. I think that we just have to find the right people, the right companies, and make the right connections, and maybe modify them, maybe bulletproof them, as we say in ag, to where they can survive.
Well, it sounds like you're a fan of one of my favorite themes of what has been kind of random in marketplace. We're going to step in and make it more intentional and focus, and that creates some opportunities for us. And at the end of the day, that's good for everyone, because the last time I checked, you all will probably be buying the product. So
we'll be there.
Your opinion matters. So, but the other thing I'm occasionally intrigued by is, did you ever hear farmers are conservative and they don't like to change? I hear that a lot, and then I run into guys like Drew, and in terms of how you've approached this, obviously you're looking at technology, but you've gotten those boots pretty dirty with your work in the orchards and redesigning trellises and all that good stuff. So talk a little bit about how you've approached this problem also, that it's not just technology.
Sure. So the way we look at it with our old systems in our stone fruit was you weren't able to adapt new technology to the old way of growing our fruit. So what we've done is we've been so far pretty successful is adapting our orchards for coming technology. A lot of it is, for stone fruit harvest, that technology isn't available yet, but we're hoping that when it does become available, we will be able to utilize that. We can't go through and having permanent crops, you can't tear out everything in your whole operation and then wait 4 years and then have an orchard that is available to be automatically harvested. So we're kind of being proactive in that sense, and we're getting a 2D structure planted. And along the way, as I mentioned before, it's not just the machine harvest that we need to achieve. We've removed ladders from our pruning. We are mechanically thinning, and we are harvesting on platforms, all which can't be done with our old growing systems. So in general, that's been one of our biggest successes, is modifying our growing systems for the oncoming technology advances that should be coming down the road.
Okay, sounds good. Josh, we were chatting a little bit this morning, and you kind of shook your head as we kind of just did a quick run through the globe and who's working on what and what are they doing. And you made the observation about everyone else. What?
Yeah, I made the observation that a lot of other areas or regions, part of other countries, are much further ahead than we are in the fresh vegetable world, specific to Salinas Valley and that cohort of people. I think it's been said many times already today, a lot of us, including myself, have a one-of-a-kind machine that we created in our garage, basically. And my machine, while it works, is parked right now today. And so that's not a good thing. And we all need to come together, like we're doing, to try to make this better, as these other groups in these other countries are. Yeah.
And I want to play with that before we move along. So, and without putting you on the spot, why is the machine parked?
The machine is parked because, I can think up a lot of things in my head, and I can scratch them down on paper, and I know what I want, just like these gentlemen do, and a lot of the people who have been up here today. But I can't make it happen. Me and my team of bandits have taken it as far as we can take it, and our shade tree mechanics can't take it any further. And a lot of you in the audience and maybe listening online have seen my machine. It needs to go that last mile to finish. We got it 90% of the way there. I just need help getting it over the finish line, and that's why it's parked. It's not parked because it doesn't work. It works, but it doesn't work perfectly.
So Don, kind of pick up on that a little bit. So you get a machine that works. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, I wish it were that easy.
Is there something else besides it works?
We need the support, we need the technical training. We have to really, we talked about the plant type. We have to have the right circumstances coming in from all different directions. When I look to our future, I see a different farm. I see plants that are designed for mechanical harvest. I think there's going to be some major changes. We're going to have to be more precise in what we do and how we, we can all put straight rows up in a field. That's great. I remember when we couldn't. But we've come a long way since then. And I think everything we're going to be doing in the future is just going to become more and more precise. And being precise is going to give you the ability to do the additional mechanical robotic harvesting, and I look at even at weeding. We've worked with robotic weeders on farm. Anything that we can do to cut down on labor is going to be beneficial to us and make us. It's going to really keep us competitive in the world. As I said, California is an expensive state to farm in.
Okay. Well, speaking of expense and cost, you've obviously spent time on the ag ops side, and then I know you play a little bit on the tech side in terms of looking equipment. So it's parked, that last mile, expense and service matters. What's all involved in the adoption process, really? Because a lot of the focus is on, okay, here's the product, but what else has to happen?
So that's one thing that we have been haven't had to face really yet, but we're planning on facing is, like Neil mentioned, having the bandwidth. You have to create the bandwidth to adapt to these things. You can't just expect the technology to come in and it's hands off and it runs itself. The bandwidth is ownership time to analyze something, make sure it has an ROI. The bandwidth is having employees that what I would call the hands-on tech people in the field that are going to be managing these fleets. And the bandwidth and capacity to charge 1,000 batteries, to move around 1,000 different robots. It's more than just having the technology there. There's a lot of logistics and things you don't think about. It's tough to deal with. It's been kind of tough to deal with at a small scale with experiments, let alone bringing a whole entire fleet of something that adds new complexities to your business.
Okay. Josh, so one of the things we've kind of teed up the question, well, what does success look like? And so and I think folks will want to hear that for your perspective. But to me, there's kind of a follow-up question. When do you define success? You achieve success, but what's going to make you feel comfortable with the success is real rather than, it's kind of like a sports career. You could have a great rookie year, but you're worried about that sophomore jinx. When do you feel like, what will it look like when you get there, and what causes you to feel like I got there? Is it multiple seasons? Just how do you define it, and what does it look like, and when do you go, okay, we're going to commit our operation to this?
Yeah, so I don't want to over, dramatize it too much, but really, truly, success in my mind is that we get to continue to farm here, because right now, from my perspective in the leafy green world, it's bleak. It doesn't look good. I don't see a bright future when it comes to being a fresh vegetable farmer in the Central Coast and being profitable, sustainable, if you will. So that really is a big part of success. But the other part of success for me with respect to what we're doing here is just doing something. If this group can make the common platform, which I believe they can, and if we can get all that, the tech stack done, and we can have some of the big players involved, we can start moving the ball down the road. With me and my group of guys, we are big on just do something. Put something in the field, and I think somebody said it earlier, if it fails, who cares? If it falls down in the mud, who cares? Just pick it back up and we'll do something else. Just do something. So that's success. And then when do I feel comfortable? Like my machine today, we've got well over $1 million into it. If it was running every single day, I'd be, man, that's success and a long-term thing that's going to go. Then I'm super excited, because what we have today is great, and I can show everybody it, and it runs, like I said, but if it was running every day and just clicking down the road, I would be much more happy.
Okay. Don?
Yeah, I mean, I look at, you know, when I look at the projects that are hopefully going to be coming from this, I look back at the canning tomato industry and how that all got started with mechanical harvesting. It was an idea, it was put together. The first machine was very simple, and it was a matter of how many people can you fit on that machine to sort the fruit, you know, and it was much better than hand harvest. But, you know, as you see what's happened through time, you know, we've got more efficient in the way it moves through a field now. We've got electronics. These things can pick, you know, 25, 30 tons in 15 minutes. And I look at this as the same process. Let's get something in the field, give growers a chance to find the problems, and growers will definitely tell you how to fix it and how to change it and how to tweak it if you get it in their hands. And I think that's the key. We have to get something out there. It may not be perfect, but let's get something going. Let's get something in the field and let the experts that run it show you what the problems are.
Okay. Don, thank you. Drew?
For me, success is probably just being able to stay in business and to be able to get 20 years down the road and give my kids the chance to continue in the same business. Success is being able to, like Josh said, farm specialty crops in California, to be able to just have those crops available. You know, maybe someday there won't be peaches available at all, except canned.
And that would be bad.
And that would be very bad.
That's right.
So, you know, and another big metric of success is technology that works in the field that isn't parked in the yard, because I think we've all been burned by that, where you invest a lot of money and time and something doesn't work out, and you've got a big paperweight sitting in your yard. So that's another big success, is equipment that works and is functioning.
Good. Okay. Just any final thoughts? You know, if not, we'll close. But any final comments? Did we miss anything? You know, once upon a time I used to stuffer from when I got off stage. Gee, I wish I had said. Any I wish I had said? Because this is YouTube, live streamed, preserved for time immemorial. So here's your chance for any last comments?
My only last comment is let's just make sure we do something. Let's get out in the field and let's do something. We have a great group of people here. We have a great start. We put a lot of people put a lot of time and energy into it. Let's just take that leap of faith and do something.
I like it. Good. Don, anything?
Yep, I think you've got the right team put together. You've got to access what's out there. I think there's fantastic technology. We just have to bring it home and put it together and get it out in the field, because without it, we're in trouble long term.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Drew, any final words?
Let's just share our ideas and move this thing on.
Sounds good. Good segue to let's take a 20-minute break. And while we've been busy all day, Australia and New Zealand have been sleeping. They're up now, so they'll be ready for us at about it's about 2:20 now. Let's call it 2:45. Be back. There's still refreshments, cookies, lemonade, coffee, etc., and a little networking and a chance to visit before we hear from our friends down under. So, gentlemen, thank you. Good words and a lot of experience on stage, and really a strong point. There's something at stake here, so we need to get this done. So, thanks, gentlemen.